So the body is on, but there's still a lot of work for us to do. Not least taking the body back off again, messing about with welding the exhaust, then putting it on again for the final time and fitting all of our gear. So let's see what we need to do now the body's on for its first fit. Alright, so the main reason that we put the body on for this first fit was to line up the exhaust, get the correct gap away from the body. Make sure you mark that however you want to in the fixing brackets or something, so when the body is off you can put them in exactly the same position and you can set up the cats and the J-pipes, which we'll cover later. But the other things that I'm going to do is, let's have a look, no particular order. I'm going to mark up my, my pipe runs here because a couple of holes down there I can't get a right angle drill attachment into or anything. So I need to mark up where the pipes are coming up. So this side comes up from the fuel tank and it will be coming up and going into a T. This T goes off to the fuel rails of the engine, and the other one the other way goes off and heads off across this bulkhead. It will then be coming into this fuel pressure regulator, into there, and then dropping straight down and back to the fuel tank. I'll be grinding off this top here, finishing the top a bit more nicely so that it can fix on this bulkhead over here. So marking up the holes for P-clips, etc., and whatever other fixings so that it's easy to get to when you take the body off. Next thing that we're going to do is, you can see down here perhaps that my front wing fixing is about 1 inch away from the wing, this gap here. And the reason for that is it's been pushed hard, the wing has been pushed hard away by the alternator hitting it. So I knew this might happen, it happened in my last car. So I just put some tape on there to aid it sliding, not that you'd see the scratches anyway. So I need to tape this up, I need to mark out a nice square to cut out and make a recessed void for the alternator to sit in when I put the body back on the next time. So I'll be making a little void, tiger sealing it all round away from the elements from the actual wheel well, and it'll just aid that, and the wheel side will be able to then come into its normal position and fix up against the bracket. So really they're kind of the main things, exhaust and fuel pipe runs. The other things I'm just going to do whilst it's up in the air, because it's going to be a lot easier to get to, I'm going to just mark up the correct hole for my gear stick, and I'm going to make the correct hole for the fuel sender just in there. Next up, I'm going to get underneath the wheel arches and I'm going to tiger seal all around the gaps here. Some quite large gaps, you can see I'm getting my finger in there. You need to tiger seal all this up, build up a few layers, and then if you don't, there's going to be a lot of moisture and spray and everything getting thrown up in there, soaked into your carpet and your boot, and make a right state. You can see it's all grey and different colours straight out of the mould. So I'm going to be using this marine fiberglass paint undercoat there, and then a nice black gloss underneath. Okay, and we're going to be doing the front wheel arches as well, just to make them all nice and uniform. And obviously we'll have to paint it anyway when we cut out that void for the alternator. Surprisingly, both my headers missed the sides of the passenger and driver compartment by about 5 or 6 mil. They did hit on my last car, and I had to make a recess here, and you cut a little bit on this return as well, and then the bit that you cut out you just reverse, and it makes a really nice square void for the headers to sit into. Now I am missing by about 5 or 6 mil. I'm obviously going to be using the heat reflective film tape, whatever, around the engine bay, but I will just inquire with AK as to whether 5 or 6 mil is enough clearance. Otherwise I'll make a little cutout. So that is pretty much it for the jobs that I need to do whilst the body is is on. So we'll just do the do the tiger seal, do the painting whilst I can get into it nice and easily. It's a bit higher. Then we're going to be marking up the exhausts exactly where they are, so I can remember the distances, and whip the body off, put the exhaust back on, and then we can mess about with the cat and J-pipe fixing. So let's get on with that. So here we are, nearly at welding stage. I've refitted the exhaust against the marks that I put underneath when the body was on, so I know that they're fitted in the exact position that they'll go on when the body is on. So we've got all that fitted correctly, and then I've just taken a scallop out of here and a scallop out of this out of the bottom there, and you can see now, hopefully, if I learn how to use a camera. So this now slides in a little bit further, and it has a really nice snug fit, no large gaps around here for the welding. So I'm pretty pleased with all this. I just took another inch off of here to tidy up that cut. But basically, when that's all in there and that's here, this is now all in a nice straight line. I might just take a smidge off of here just to raise it up, just a couple of mil. So this is all now a nice straight line, and when all this is welded and passed up through the body, it will be able to slide straight onto this J-pipe in a nice straight direction and engage the 2 points on the body fixings as well. So so that's it. That's what you got to do. I think I'm pretty pleased with that. So I just need to get the weld around here, just to tack this while I hold it in place, which is what he did last time. And then we take it off of the car and he welds it all properly out in the driveway, and we are done. As soon as we have that done, we're ready for body on for the final time. So thanks for sticking with me. Now, I know we're not doing final fit just yet, but the instructions say when you do fit the body for the final time, to run a bead of sealant around where the body sits on top of the chassis. Now, it's important to understand, you know, what we're trying to achieve here. Are we running a bead of sealant around here to stop water ingress, or to fix the body to the chassis so it doesn't move? Well, I doubt that, because you know, there's obviously bolt holes all the way around, so the body is fitted to the chassis with the bolts. So I suggest it's for water ingress. Now, the body is pretty excellent, but there's you know, obviously a couple of high spots and low spots. So unless you're going to run quite a thick bead of tiger seal or whatever silicone round this area, I'm not sure that you're going to get a complete water seal. So what I'd like to do is fit this foam. Now, it's a close cell foam. It's not really hard. It does squash down. It squashes down to about 1 mil, 1.5 mil. And I think that'll do a good job of stopping water ingress. Of course, the body does sit on top, for example here, and the body does sit on top here, but in this section it actually slides down the side, so you could get a lot of moisture and dampness coming and being trapped down the side there. Now, if that happens, is it just going to stay permanently damp in here? Is it going to be able to soak up through the holes that hold the seat in and start affecting the carpet and the glue holding the carpet in? I'm not sure. It may be even worth putting a couple of drain holes in the back here, so it's got a chance of, I don't know, drying out or leaking out. So so yeah, there's a few thoughts about it. Of course, if you ever need to get the body off, which is pretty unlikely once you've plumbed it all in and done your wiring, etc., you're probably never going to be taking that body off. But if you did, and you would run tiger seal all the way around here, it's going to be very difficult and messy to take it off. So I think this foam strip solution will aid that if it ever needs to happen. I think it'll mould to the underside of the body quite well to stop any water ingress. And maybe once it's all on for the final time, I could run some Tiger Seal along the body here and the chassis here, just to stop a lot of moisture and stuff dropping down there. But then at least that is easy to get a blade in should you ever need to release it and cut it off. So so that's what I'm going to do. I've got a couple of layers of this foam strip. Again, it worked pretty well on my last car, and I think we'll go with that, and I'll contemplate a couple of drain holes and how we could finish those without them looking terrible. So let's get on with the next thing. You need to grease the 4 knuckles on the drive shafts. Down here, in here, see the grease nipple just in there, and of course on the other side. So to do that, you need to get yourself a grease gun. Fairly inexpensive. I've got this one from Holker. It's pretty nice. I'll just show you how to use it briefly. You have to take this body off and load up the grease, screw it up, just put a bit of pressure on and let out any air up here. Then you can start squeezing the grease through. Now, there's obviously jaws in here that go round the grease nipple, so I just undo it slightly, and then we put the gun on here and click it into place. There we go, that's got an attachment there, and then you just go ahead and squeeze the grease through, and you know when you've got enough, because grease will start appearing you know, around some of these joints. Now, to get it off can be quite tricky, but what you need to do is basically loosen this attachment here. So by holding this bottom section here, just rotate the grease gun around just to unscrew it slightly, and then it should just pop off, or if you just get a little thin blade screwdriver just to help you pop it off squarely. I'll just undo it a little bit more. There we go. That's it, the exhausts are done. That's the end of that saga. So basically I just lined the exhausts up into their positions that I marked up when the body was on, so I had the gapping all correct. I then held in place the cat and the J-pipe whilst my mobile welder just tacked it into place, and then we took it off and he fixed it all up on the driveway, and it's all a-okay. I practiced sliding this on and it's all fine, so it all just slides on all in one go. The 2 points engage on the chassis points fixings, and this just slides right onto the J-pipe. So I'm really pleased with all of that. That's excellent. I've still got enough room in here to get a bolt on. I just need to get a better bolt length. So that's all good. So really pleased with all of that. And equally that side, all good. I guess there's a little bit of a dog leg in here, but this is all fine. The flanges that are cut in here, when the U-bolt goes on and clamps around all this, then that'll just all clamp into place. So really pleased with all that, and glad that the exhaust saga is over. So now it's time to get on with something a bit more exciting. I'll see you again.
Like a truck